We will begin with meditation given by Reverend Alan David Young.
Good morning. Thanks for being with us. And today we're going to talk about the 10 Science of Mind core principles. And to do that, simply breathe into your heart and breathe out through your heart. Your attention on your heart. Once again, breathe in to your heart and out through your heart. Take a few more centering breaths at your own pace. And as you do so, feel connected to the one life of all. Let's contemplate the beginning of our declaration of principles. Say, we believe in God, the living Spirit Almighty, indestructible, absolute, and self-existent cause. This one manifests itself in and through all creation, but it's not absorbed by its creation. Today's meditation is a journey through the 10 core principles. Think of it as part of a tradition. It goes back to the basics of science of mind. Offerings that we tend to do in the month of January. Even though it's not quite January yet, we're very close to it. So we're going to spend a moment with each of the core principles, these invisible, unchanging principles, which are aligned with the 10 years of the tree of life, the 10 planets in our galaxy. And know with me that you are always connected to these heavenly bodies, these heavenly parts of the divine, and they are always connected to you. First core principle is oneness, the sphere of oneness. It's the greatest and most important revelation of the 10 core principles. It tells us that God is the source of all that is. It says that everything is made of God's substance. Everything is unique and one of a kind, but God doesn't make duplicates. The content is very similar to the Great Commandments. Love the Lord thy God with all your heart, all your soul, all your mind, and love your neighbor as yourself. A moment to contemplate the power of oneness. Second core principle is the sphere of the Trinity. The Trinity is God's triune nature. It tells us that God expresses itself in three ways, three faces: spirit, soul, and body. Also known as the masculine or conscious face of God, the feminine or subconscious face of God, and the manifest universe, which are the offspring of the masculine and the feminine. Take a moment to contemplate this triune nature of the divine. The third core principle is in the sphere of the Word. Tells us that when God thinks, the Word comes into being. And all that human consciousness originates the book of John in the New Testament. It begins with, "In the beginning was the Word, and without the Word, nothing was made that was made." In the Hebrew language, there's the word abracadabra, which means, with these words I will create as I speak. Take a moment to contemplate the power of the word. Fourth core principle is prayer. It tells us that prayer increases our consciousness of good, that's forever flowing to and through us, if we can accept it. Some prayers ask God for personal help and things. Others ask how we can manifest its kingdom. Ask, and it shall be given. Seek, and you shall find. Knock, and the door will be open. But take a moment to contemplate the power of prayer. It's awesome power. The fifth core principle is the sphere of wholeness or completeness. It tells us that the whole is transcendent. It contains and embraces all the opposites. The wholeness principle begins with and brings freedom, prosperity, and joy, as well as bondage, lack, and misery. All of that's included in wholeness, like a big puzzle with many different parts. Some great, some not so great. Just contemplate for a moment the meaning of wholeness, the allness. Core principle 6 is the spirit of abundance. It tells us that all we need, all that we desire, is already produced by universal abundance. There's nothing new under the sun. We may find it, and it becomes new to us, but everything that we need has already been created. We just have to be receptive to accepting it. And this applies to everybody, not just some people. Every person is heir to the riches of creation without regard to merit. But take a moment to contemplate the presence, the wonderful presence of abundance in and through us at all times. Reciprocity is the seventh of the core principles. It tells us that for every visible form, there's an invisible counterpart. What we receive in this life corresponds to what we imagine and believe we can receive. This principle explains the golden rule this way: what we do unto others will be done to us. What goes around comes around. We attract what we are. If not now, tomorrow, or the next lifetime. But there's no escape. It works on the principle of cause and effect in many ways. But contemplate the power of reciprocity for a moment. Our principle is the eternal now of forgiveness. It tells us that the ultimate goal of life is the complete emancipation from all discord of every nature, and that this goal will be attained by all. Forgiveness is the process of living free from discord. Let go of what is no longer needed. Forgiveness frees us to live in the eternal now. Contemplate the power of forgiveness. Immortality is the ninth sphere, or principle. It tells us that universal truths never end. This said, things will come and go, the earth will come and go, the sun will come and go, but my words will live on forever. Immortality is like two sides of the same coin. One side for the beginning, one for endings. Throughout life, birth and death represent changing from one way or form of life to another. In birth, the invisible becomes visible. In death, the visible becomes invisible. Still living, just changing forms. The universe is always moving into and out of forms. Take a moment to contemplate the power of immortality. The last of the core principles, principle 10, is about cosmic consciousness, sometimes referred to as the cosmic Christ. What is cosmic consciousness? This principle tells us that the universal presence and the image of God is present in all of creation. It usually comes through our intuition, and is enhanced by our spiritual nature as well. This presence operates within to the degree that we recognize and live out its revelations. God makes it possible for us to catch its thoughts and live in harmony. We can think of it as a kind of divine broadcast. Take a moment to contemplate the universal presence of the divine. As you do so, continue to breathe into your heart and out to your heart. To your heart and out to your heart. I'm going to end this meditation with reverse count from 5 to 1. 5, 2, 1. We are done. And this ends the meditation for this morning, and so it is.
And so it is. Thank you, Reverend Allen. We will have our first song, Open Up, given by Karie, Hillery. And welcome to CSL Peninsula.
Gonna open up, gonna open up, gonna open up to change. Gonna open up, gonna open up, gonna open up to change. Looking ever deeper, seeking a new way. Time to shift my thinking, embrace a higher way. Gonna open up, gonna open up, gonna open up to change. Gonna open up, gonna open up, gonna open up to change. When we face the darkness, when we are in pain, loving kindness heals us, pulls us through again. Gonna lift us up, gonna lift us up, gonna lift us up to love. Gonna lift us up, gonna lift us up, gonna lift us up to love. Sometimes in confusion, when we long for peace, stuck in dark delusion, trust it's within reach. Gonna lift us up, gonna lift us up, gonna lift us up to love. Gonna lift us up, gonna lift us up, gonna lift us up to love. Gonna lift us up, gonna lift us up, gonna lift us up to love. Gonna lift us up, gonna lift us up, gonna lift us up to love. Gonna lift us up to love. Gonna lift us up to love.
Thank you, Karie. Such beautiful music. Good morning and welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living Peninsula. We welcome everyone here. You are welcome here. My name is Susan Wilkinson. I am the service moderator for today. You are here by divine appointment. We teach the science of mind and spirit, which is the study of life and the nature of laws of thought. Every person is significant. Welcome home. Please join me in claiming our mission statement. Our mission is transformation through spiritual practice, education, service, empowerment, and by living inspired lives. Joining me in service today, the minister of the day, Reverend Karie, Hillery. She will also be doing all the music. Amazing! I look forward to this wonderful service. Our tech host, Joe Beckner. Thank you, Joe. We have an online community hangout immediately after the service using the same Zoom link. Let me see if we have some folks here. Well, hi, Alan. Thank you for being here. Thank you for helping us today. And all the other folks that have usually come, but thank you for being here. To keep informed of our services and events, please sign up for our weekly newsletter by putting your name and email in the chat. Following this service, you are invited to join our online fellowship hangout. Now let's focus on our service. Thank you for joining us today. We will have our second song, Open at the Top, by Karie, Hillery.
I say it's blue, but maybe it's green. There must be a million colors in between. So why do we argue? Why vilify? 'Cause nobody wins with an eye for an eye. I will stay open at the top, exploring the end, embrace paradox. I will stay open, walking my talk, and I'll start a movement that no one can stop. I will stay open at the top. I will stay open at the top. I'll search for the middle, the polarity. 'Cause when we're not open, we cannot see the third way of knowing, between seen and unseen. We have more in common, place in between. We will stay open at the top, exploring the end, and we won't be blocked. We will stay open to these new thoughts, heart and mind open to share what we're taught. We will stay open at the top. We will stay open at the top. Beyond ideas, what's right or wrong, there is a field where we all belong. Find common ground and a place we agree. We are creating a true path to peace. If we stay open, what might we learn? Loving all that is different. Let's accept, let's discern. We will stay open, this we affirm. Give love where it's needed, and it will be returned. We will stay open at the top. We will stay open stay open, open at the top.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. So very lovely. I would like to bring Reverend Allen to the fore. Please give us our affirmation today and opening prayer. Thank you.
Here's the affirmation, the weekly affirmation for today. I create exciting new ways to experience and express spirit. I say yes, yes to all life. And once again, I create exciting new ways to experience and express spirit. I say yes to all life. So let's go within for a moment of community treatment and accept and know that all is in its right place. We have a wonderful message coming for us this morning. I know this because it's already been designed. It's already in Holy Writ. And we're open to this divine broadcast that's about to come forth through Karie Hillery, Reverend Karie Hillery. And I invite you to simply be still for a moment and take in these words even before a word is spoken. As they say in Native American traditions, O Great Spirit, earth, sky, sun, and sea, you are inside and all around me. Know with me that when the mind is quiet, the whole world functions a little better. When we're at ease, we're at peace, functions a little better, and so does the whole universe. I accept that those in our CSL community and throughout the world are receiving truth today in whatever form it is given. And I accept that truth, wherever it is given. I accept the truth here, even before it is spoken. I accept that we're receiving and seeking and letting go of what we no longer need. So I give thanks once again for the divine, for hearing these words, for being with these words, for being with this wonderful spirit who's going to lead us in a wonderful service, wonderful words. And I release them in love and invite you to join me in anchoring this treatment by simply saying, and so it is.
Thank you, Reverend Allen. I would like to introduce Reverend Karie Hillery, but first I'm going to help you understand a little more about who she is. International recording artist Karie Hillery is a familiar voice in the spiritual, women's empowerment, and environmental activism communities. She has shared her conscious pop music and message at over 250 spiritual centers and hosts monthly Gathering the Women circles. Her Earth Day birthday seems the perfect precursor to her deep connection and love for Mother Earth, and her original music reflects this respect and devotion for the interconnectedness of all living things. Her lifelong goal is to use her gifts to co-create a world that works for everyone. No exceptions. Karie has 9 CDs of her original music and a new one slated for release early January 2025, which is just a few days from now. Please sign up for her monthly e-newsletter at Karie.com so you'll know what's happening in her world and get updates about her gigs and new music. Yay, Karie! Yay, Karie! What can I say? I'm excited. Please come. She will be our speaker for today. Thank you.
Thank you for inviting me to share with your community. Can you all hear me okay? Good. I always have to check with Zoom because you just never really know what's happening. So I just want to correct y'all. I'm not a reverend, but I'm so honored that you would call me a reverend. I've been studying for a long time. I'm such a
We call you
spiritual
an
gypsy.
honorary reverend. You're
I'm
an
an
honorary
honorary,
reverend.
yes. I have my
Thank
honorary doctorate in getting through life. So, yeah, I've been studying these teachings for a long time, and I've been in the New Thought community for several decades now. And I'm just honored to be able to bring some of my life experience and some of what I've learned through, I call it the School of Hard Knocks, because it's been valuable to get me through things. And if I can share one little tidbit that helps somebody else get through a rough patch by being able to learn some new tools and implement them, I figure that's why I'm here. So I want to read our affirmation again, just to kind of get us anchored in what we're going to be talking about. I create exciting new ways to experience and express spirit. I say yes to life. So we're going to explore. Yeah, there it is. Thanks. Hey, I was going to put a slide up, but I didn't know you guys were going to be using it. So we're going to explore what it means to actually be open at the top and to expand into the space, and what it means to live with that kind of a open willingness to learn new things and to maybe look at things differently. And all year we've been talking about this grand rising. So as we close out 2024, I think it's time to focus on what that means and what's been expanding and what's happening in us as we've gone deeper into these teachings. How are we using what we've learned to guide us and to show up in a way that makes not only us and our lives better, but in a way that brings a higher consciousness, a stronger positive energy into whatever situation we find ourselves in. I'm sure we've all been in a room when somebody walks in and I know the Dalai Lama's energy is famous for this, but someone enters the room and the whole energetic field raises. And I know that one of my goals is to evolve enough that I can be one of those people that brings that kind of energy, or somebody who walks into a situation that is tenuous or uncomfortable and they bring a calming effect. So to me, that's one of the things that these teachings can enable us to learn to do. So it's a tall order, but I believe that's what this is all about. So what is arising within us? What's changed in you this year by exploring some of these a little deeper? Because we can use all the elements available to us, air, fire, water, earth, light, and combine them with the power into a flow of consciousness that's thought, feeling, form, wisdom, and spirit. And by working on this, we can learn to stay grounded enough to use all of this energy on a daily basis in every situation. So one of my late dearest minister friends, I don't know if any of you know or know of Reverend Diane Borsakowski. She was one of my teachers and one of the people in my life that really walked her talk. And I'm not saying that she always got it and that she didn't get knocked off center, but she had an uncanny knack for getting herself right back on track really quickly. So she was one of those people that could use her tools and the teachings to stick the landing. And she was pretty famous for it in her circle of friends and in her ministry. She'd have some minor or even a major catastrophe that would come up. It could be, out in the real world, or it could be an emotional quagmire. And she would use her tools to kind of get right the ship and and stay until she got on the ground and could move forward. So one of my favorite stories about her was she found an older RV that was out of state, and she bravely flew out. She'd never RV'd. I'm an RVer. I have a little touring rig that I've used to get to my gigs for the last 20 years. So I kind of knew what she was going to be up against, but she just bravely flies out of state, picks up this RV, and she drives back. And everything that could break, leak, get stuck, go flat happened on this trip. And she called me at one point because she saw that there was a wire that was hanging down near the propane tank that was sparking. So I helped her turn off the tank, and apparently somebody else pulled over. She just manifested all this help and helped her get the wire patched up so it wasn't hanging. And she got home, but it was just, even though she was so shaken by what was happening, I watched her in our conversations over the couple-day drive lean into her faith and just trust that it was going to all work out okay and that she'd get there safely. And she did. And so we decided to name her RV Lands on Her Feet, which was perfect. And she had many, many, many other wonderful adventures in this RV. But I mean, how many of us could have pushed past a dead battery, a flat tire, and all these other things, brakes going out, all of these other things that were happening? So this is somebody that always inspired me, that she was able to lean into her faith. So how do we live our lives? Are we able to do what Diane did and show up as this trusting and open to the best possible outcome in every situation? So probably one of the nicest compliments I ever get is, I'm the anchor. When stuff starts swirling, if I come into a situation, I've had enough life experience of the poop hitting the fan that I can pretty much get back to center and help other people get there. So the science of mind teaches us these 4 things. 1, principle is not bound by precedent. 2, evolution is always forward. 3, we are to stay open at the top. 4, we are to be for something and against nothing. And these are Ernest Holmes' teachings. So these 4 ideas help us stay open at the top, and they also point us in a direction of consciousness for moving forward and keeping us rising in our consciousness. Because we're all extensions of spirit, and we're all extensions of each other. We are inherently unlimited and capable of so much more than we realize. And it's so important that we remember this, because our fear of change and our feelings of separation can cause blockages in this openness that we're working hard to develop. And believing that we can't is just as powerful as believing that we can. And it can get very much in the way of being open to learning things and finding new ways of looking at things and new practices and tools. And we can often, and I see this so much in the political arena, that we get so stuck in that our way is the right way, that we've got it all figured out and everybody else is wrong. And I'm as guilty of this as the next person. So I love this quote by Rumi: out beyond ideas of wrongdoing and right doing, there is a field. I'll meet you there. To me, that is one of the most powerful quotes. I try to live by that quote, because somewhere between all of this division and misunderstanding, there's a common thread, because there's divine light and force always there for all of us. So this line essentially means that beyond the concepts of good and bad, there's a space of pure unity and understanding where we can connect with each other without judgment. That's pretty powerful. So Ernest Holmes says, find me one person who can get their own littleness out of the way, and they shall reveal to me the immeasurable magnitude of the universe in which I live. So, isn't it great when we can be that person that can get out of our own way? That's one of my goals. So, one of the other things that he says is evolution is always forward. So, it helps to remember this, especially when things appear to be moving backward, which for me, that's been happening a lot lately. There just seems to be so much more misogyny and division and misunderstandings, just general misunderstandings. So it can be really disheartening. But I think one of the things that gives me hope is the fact that more people are noticing these behaviors that are not positive, that are unhealthy. And more people are calling people out on them. More people are helping to lovingly move people toward a deeper understanding or being more open to looking at things in a more healthful and loving way. So maybe we are moving forward. And I think as we become more aware, and I think this is part of the openness that this grand rising is talking about, we're more inclined to gently help somebody look at something differently. And maybe we're more open to letting someone else gently guide us to looking at something more openly. So I'd like to invite us to all take a deep breath together and close our eyes for just a moment. And let's take a second deep breath together and blow it out. And while your eyes are still closed, I want to invite you to see if you can touch into the flow of spirit that's within and around all of us. And can we feel a willingness to open up and embrace what can be, what we want to see in the world, and to embrace the idea of living in the and not allow ourselves to be blocked by our own fears. So let's take another deep breath together and blow it out. So the power in believing that we can be the change we seek by being for that change, by visualizing it, by feeling it, by embracing the energy of it, not floundering in the frustration and focusing on what we don't want, but putting our concentrated, holy energy on what we do want. So as we embrace and touch into the eternal and internal flow of spirit through us, we can open up and expand our ability to more fully experience everything that's available to us in this world, everything that we're capable of manifesting. So here's a beautiful, I love Soni Cantrell Smith. And she says, do I decorate my life with spirit? Or is my life a demonstration of what the divine can be as me? So I'm going to read that a second time. Do I decorate my life with spirit? Or is my life a demonstration of what the divine can be as me? So, how many of us know folks who have been the person who can talk the talk, but has a heck of a time walking the walk? Because I know I get as stuck as the next person. But when I meet people like Diane, Rev Di, who, although, I mean, I would share things with her and she'd be as mad at the person I was sharing my anger with as I was, but she would be able to move so much more quickly to, okay, well, have you been that person? What do you think might be making that person behave that way? Can you recognize that in yourself? Can you forgive? And can you move forward? So there's a Zen saying that says, when you get to the top of the mountain, keep climbing. Because the principles, the mountain, they all stay the same. Our relation to them expands as our minds and hearts and wisdom expand, as we open up to learning. It's all about staying open and expanding into greater, more evolved versions of ourselves. And it's about rising to the best that we're capable of, which grows and improves the more we do this work. So, first, it's important to be aware and open at the top and stay grounded in a foundation of spiritual principles and practices. So, the more we incorporate these tools into our everyday life, the more our lives change and the more we grow in peace and prosperity and love and more. So, the more we're able to operate from a place of being aligned with spirit, to be consciously working toward that, we start to realize that life isn't happening to us, but that we have the power to control how we look at life. And when we shift and open up again and arise to everything that's available to us, we realize that we're not at the mercy of life happening to us, but as spirit working through us. So we learn to work in alignment with this energy, this power that is always available to us. Spirit shows up in all areas of our lives. And sometimes really surprisingly in places that we wouldn't expect it to be. So Sean Ginwright says, or Ginwright, I never know how to say these people's names. If we look deep within for a moment and ask how we can change our outlook, we will at least be on the right track. I've heard someone say that if we want something we've never seen, we have to do something we've never tried. That's pretty powerful. So as we master these practices and our lives become more smoothly, it can be really easy to get lazy. Anybody besides me go, okay, I've got this. I'm cool. And you kind of relax. And then the universe, because the universe is our teacher, will immediately, as we're just relaxing to how know-it-all we are, it'll stick somebody or some situation right in your face. And then you have to dig deeper and you have to use those principles more. It can be a rogue employee, some coworker. It can be some political organization or some nonprofit that you're involved with that just isn't doing it the way you want to see it. I mean, I have a friend that's super involved with the art center in town, and she's on the board, and things will go great, and everybody's getting along, and then somebody wants to put a washing machine in to wash towels for the pottery people, and they can't agree on who should put it in or if they should accept this free one. And it's just so funny because I'll watch this and then I'll see it in my own life, how we're constantly pushed because there's no there to arrive at. It's all a process. I mean, one of my favorite minister friends always says, when you stop learning, you're dead. So you might as well keep learning because there's a lot here. So, there's this divine urge of life that will continue to propel us forward. And if we're willing, it'll deepen us to awareness and a mastery of these principles. We not only have the opportunity to learn this stuff, we have a responsibility. I can remember when I first started in New Thought, and it wasn't like expecting God to take care of everything, that I was suddenly, oh dear, suddenly I'm a part of this greater energy and I'm supposed to take responsibility for my own actions in this world. So it's so important that the more we lean into this, the more we realize that there's only one of us here. So the more that we evolve, we're pulling those around us up with us. So I think the thing that has been most helpful for me to observe in the ministers that I admire, and just the people in life, ministers, not ministers, that I admire the most and that I want to emulate, the Martin Luther Kings and the Dalai Lamas and the Mother Teresas, they are so grounded in principle that supports their expansion as spiritual beings. Because just giving a handout only goes so far. We need to give people a hand up. We need to encourage them and we need to support our fellow friends and human beings, because no one's free until all of us are free. And that thought, that points us to this interconnectedness, that the more we evolve, we pull all the energy up around with us. And when we devolve, we do the exact same thing. And that's equally as important to look at. As I get frustrated with some of the things that are really important in my life kind of being chipped away at, and things happening on the political front that I'm really uncomfortable with, I have to really fight my way back to my spiritual center and just say, God's in all of this. I may not be able to see one inkling of where God is in this, but I'm going to keep looking. And if I have to be the part of God that's in this, then I'm going to do it. And I'm going to encourage everybody I know and love to do the same. So Ernest Holmes says, it would be wonderful indeed if a group of people should arrive on earth who were for something and against nothing. I'm going to read that again. It would be wonderful indeed if a group of people should arrive on earth who were for something and against nothing. Sometimes we get so scared or fail to see the path, and we step out of the flow and we just get lost. Anybody besides me ever just feel like they are rudderless and floundering? And I have felt that more lately than I have in a long time, because I think things are intensifying on a lot of fronts. So we can't get caught up in fighting our circumstances. The gift we have to share is the understanding that everything begins in our minds and our hearts, and that the universe is a place of life, love, and light, and peace, and power, and kindness, and beauty, and joy, and it's abundantly expressing as and through us all the time. Our gift is that we understand that changing and expanding our consciousness changes our circumstances. And I saw that so vividly in Diane's road trip with the RV, because she just kept having to step up to the next level of accepting and knowing it could be better and then moving through it. So how many of us have been the someone who gets so immersed in railing against something that we've lost sight of the fact that we're actually wasting our time by focusing and fighting against something instead of envisioning and working toward the outcome that we want, envisioning and working on co-creating the world that we want to see, the actions that we want to see, the outcome that we want to see. I mean, I get so guilty. I mean, the best tool for me has been doing a news blackout, because then I have my little affirmation list. I have my songs. I've been like a channel lately. So many messages coming through, and I just go, what is this? And the answer always for me is, I need these messages. And then the second answer is, if I need these messages, I'm not the only one. Everyone needs these messages. And so that's why I'm working very hard to get this next project out, because I just feel like it's so time sensitive. This reminding us to stay open, this reminding us to keep our hearts open. I have a new song called Faith, and it's all about where's my faith, because I and so many people around me have just been knocked to the ground. And we need to get back to that. We are not powerless here. We have so much more power than we realize. And I have a new one that's I'm holding a vision for a peaceful world, and the word peace changes to loving world, conscious world, light-filled world, joyful world. These are all things that we need to remind ourselves that we have the power to build this. So let's share our great gift with the world. Let's share these principles and tools, because we can take our understanding and just show up. We don't have to be spouting words of wisdom. We can just be the person that lets somebody go in line in front of us. People seem so surprised. I just did that yesterday at the supermarket. The guy had 2 things and I had a cart. And he seemed so shocked that I said, well, why don't you go? Oh, I'm not in a hurry. I'm just like, yeah, but you probably have better things to do than stand behind my cart. So just go. And he probably thanked me like 6 times. And you got to know that he was nicer to the next person he met, because that warmed his heart, just even if this much. So we have to remember that this is practical spirituality. This is just kindness. This is offering to hold somebody's baby that's fussing in line behind you so they can get their stuff out of their cart. These are simple actions, but they're so powerful. This is the gift, and this sharing this gift that opens us up. This is the grand rising that we're talking about. When I first started reading this year's stuff, and I don't know, I've probably presented 10 times this year. At first, I'm like, what are they talking about? But when you boil it down to the simplest things have the most power, and that we all are capable of just compassion, a smile, $1 to a homeless person. These are not changing the world, and yet they are changing the world in a practical and loving way. So as we move into the new year, let us enter it with a deeper conviction to bring a higher consciousness, to share what we learned with others, to stay open to whatever might come through for us that's going to grow us and help us be brighter lights, because that's what we are. We're all just little lights. We're all pieces of something so much greater, and we're all parts of each other. So let's rise up together and take a united stand for the things we believe in, a common goal of having a world that works for everyone, no exceptions. So I'd like to read this poem together. I think this is so powerful. It's such simple words, but they're so powerful. So let's read this together. I am only one, but I am one. I cannot do everything, but I can do something. And because I cannot do everything, I will not refuse to do the something that I can do. Thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure, and I hope I shared something that was meaningful. So thank you. Namaste.
And thank you for the wonderful words.
Rise up, rise up, still we rise. Rise up, still we rise. Right here, right now is the time to take a stand, celebrating diversity around the world, across the land. So rise up, yeah, rise up, still we rise. Oh, rise up, yeah, rise up, still we rise. Today's the day to recognize our common goal, building bridges instead of walls, healing hearts, touching souls. So rise up, yeah, rise up, still we rise. Oh, rise up, still we rise.
Thank you, Karie. Let us all go to www.karie.com. Yay. Now we're going to move into our intentional sharing portion of our service. I'd like to invite Reverend Allen to come and give us our giving affirmation.
I bless this gift with all my love. As I give, I embody prosperity and abundance, knowing I am fully supported by the universe. This is a symbol of my love and gratitude. It does great work in the world and returns to me easily, effortlessly, and often.
Thank you, Reverend Allen. There are many ways to give to CSLP, and as we remember, how we give, we also receive. We can give from our website at cslpeninsula.org/donate. Very easy, just press that green button and be generous. So the universe, can you be generous to me? You can go from your PayPal account, cslpeninsula@gmail.com, or Zelle with the same cslpeninsula@gmail.com. You could also mail to CSL Peninsula, P.O. Box 3243, Berkeley, California, 94703. We've had a wonderful service. Just reminding you, for me, I've had many clear moments this service. Thank you, Karie. I will call you Reverend Karie from now on. If anything has been done or said which has blessed you in any way, we invite you to give.
This gift is from my heart, the perfect place to start. This I do believe, in giving I receive, in giving we receive, in giving I receive, in giving we receive.
Thank you, Karie. Reverend Allen, could you please give us a simple blessing of tithes and offerings received?
Absolutely. Let's go within just for a moment and know with me that there's not one spot, not one where God is not. There's not one spot where money is not, or goodness is not. And thanks to the law of circulation, whatever we give returns to us in abundance of wellness in mind, body, and spirit. So it is with deep gratitude and appreciation that I bless these gifts and prayers on behalf of the Center for Spiritual Living. And together, you can join me in releasing these words by saying, and so it is. Amen.
Please tell us how you can submit a prayer request online.
To submit a prayer request online, you need to send it to cslpeninsula@gmail.com. And a response will be provided to you if you're present in our community hangout coming up soon. You can ask for and receive what's called a 1-minute miracle, which is usually a little more than a minute. A spiritual mind treatment from one of our practitioners, whoever is available. That's how you do it.
Awesome. That's awesome. So we do have some happenings from CSL Peninsula. We have a live in-person gathering on January 12th at Hobie's. Please come. You can also come online, but please come in person. It's very fun. And you can have breakfast or lunch or both. Very fun. Thank you. You're also welcome to come to our hangout after the service. We can come at about 11:15. Be really awesome. So, Reverend Allen, would you like to give our benediction? Oh, wait, there's something cool. A speech-a-thon. Cool, got a speech? Need to learn, relearn, or practice? How to deliver it. Standing up, full body, on stage, in front of a live audience. I have a feeling that this is from Elliot. Would you like to tell us more, Elliot?
Sure, why not? And you thought Karie and everybody is just a natural. She has practiced at it. She became that good because she does have that practice behind the scene. So not everyone could be just like Karie, but we could try to be. Yeah. And so those of us who are shy about stage presence, we want a full body, please, not just from your waist up. So CSLP has always sponsored a mindfulness Toastmaster. We don't have our physical space, so we have borrowed a space from the Bethany Lutheran Church in Menlo Park. We're going to have a speech-a-thon tomorrow night. You are all welcome. Thank you.
That sounds really fun. Cool. Awesome. So, Reverend Allen, you ready?
Yes. So for the benediction, if you would go within for a moment, and just imagine that we're sitting in a circle, holding hands, and bring to mind these words: let there be peace on earth, let there be love on earth, and let it begin with me. Dear Father, Mother God, who's everywhere present, how sacred is thy nation, and comforting thy presence. We understand that your kingdom has come. We understand that your will is being done through each of us right now. Because God is love, the more we dwell on God, the more we increase our capacity to love. And great things happen when we're willing to listen to that still small voice and express its wisdom. Know with me that love, happiness, and contentment are ready to express themselves right now, right here, right where you are. So as we leave this quiet place, we do so knowing and recalling that song, Let There Be Peace on Earth, and adding, let there be love on earth. Let there be stillness on earth. Wherever you are, whatever you're going through, I accept unlimited love and blessings for you, and that your prayers are being heard by the divine. They're being answered in divine right time. Not necessarily your time, but divine time. But they are being answered. They are being heard. And so with a grateful heart, I release these words, and we can all give thanks to everything great and small. And you can join me by concluding this service in benediction by simply saying, and so it
And
is.
so it is.
Amen.
Oh, so wonderful. Thank you. And thank you to Tech Host Extraordinaire. And thank you, Karie. So wonderful. Thank you, Alan, for being here. Thank you, Carmina Brother, for being here. Thank you, everyone. If you feel like coming to our hangout, you are absolutely welcome. CSL Peninsula rocks. Yay!
And I want to thank my husband, the other Alan, for running slides.
Thank you. Alan, number 2.
We have 2 Allens.
Maybe he's number 1.
You can make him a Rev Allen too.
Rev Alan. And we all become Rev when we learn how to do Zoom.
There we
Now
go. Yeah.
we have Rev Joe, we have Rev Karie, and Rev Allen, and Rev Allen again. How about that? And Rev Linda. We're all Revs.
Good to see you, Linda.
Really awesome. Thank you.
Thank you for inviting me. It really.
We'll be in touch, Karie. Thank you, Rev Karie.
Thank you, everyone.
Happy New
Bye.
Year, everybody.
Awesome. Thank you. Great.
What time is fellowship? What time is fellowship?
I get about 11:15.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, same length.